It's time for Come and Talk It with your host, Michael Cargill, brought to you by Texas Law Shield. Over the last decade, Michael has championed and supported the rights of law-abiding Texans to own and use firearms. He is the owner of Central Texas Gun Works, a veteran of the United States Army, and has achieved national exposure in such prestigious media outlets such as Forbes Magazine, Fox Business News, CNN Money, AOL, BBC World News, Huffington Post, and the New York Times. Cargill vigorously defends lawful gun ownership in this country without regard to party politics. And now, here's Michael Cargill.
Good day, Austin, Texas, the live music capital of the world. Let's praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. All right, so today we're going to talk about the TSA. The TSA, what does that stand for, Zach?
The Texas
Nope.
super awesome company.
Nope.
Right?
That's that organization, that's that entity, that government agency that actually governs, transportation. It's called the Transportation Secretary Administration.
Oh, the one that gropes me.
Yes.
Yeah, the one that puts their hands all over me, just the back of their hands.
That's right, just the back, all in your stuff. That's right. So we're going to talk about TSA because guess what? A large number of people are actually mistakenly taking guns through security at the airport.
Even employees.
Even employees, a large amount of people, like quite a bit, actually.
Oops.
Yeah. So the Transportation Security Administration confiscated a record number of guns at checkpoints in 2022, most of which were loaded. As the agency has increased the maximum fine for firearm violations, TSA said it has recovered 6,301 firearms from airport security checkpoints so far this year as of Friday. That's 6,301 as of Friday. So guess what's coming up next? Christmas, Hanukkah.
Yeah, big travel season.
Yeah.
Wasn't the old maximum fine $10,500?
It was like 13,000.
13,000. What is it now?
So they're raising that fine to $14,950. That's right, $14,950.
And you said that there were 6,000 people that did that at ABIA airport? Or all airports?
This is all airports.
Oh, all airports in the United States.
Not just Austin, Burston.
Oh,
That's right.
okay.
So we're talking about the entire country. So 6,301 firearms have been confiscated as of this year so far, and that surpasses the previous record of 5,972 firearms detected in 2021. So we haven't even hit Christmas. So as soon as we hit Christmas, that number is going to go up quite a bit as well. So, it's, we've already exceeded that number. So they're raising the fine. They're saying, hey, you know what? We're tired of this. We're tired of people, mistakenly, accidentally taking firearms through security. You should already know there's a huge sign there, several signs that tell you no weapons are allowed through security.
Yeah, in 2020, there were 49 firearms violations at Austin Bergstrom. 2021, there were 110. And 2022, as of August 22nd, there were 100.
Wow. And that's just August. So that means, that's why I've always said that Austin Bergstrom Airport is the worst airport in the entire country where people forget and take their guns to security.
Even employees.
Even employees. And speaking of employees, man, who is that? Yes, someone did that just recently at the Austin Bergstrom Airport.
Yeah.
And just mistakenly took their gun through security. An employee. You would think you as an employee should know this, but people make those mistakes. And that's the number one reason people have to take a firearm safety course from us.
Because they bring a gun to the airport?
Yeah, mistakenly take a gun to the airport is the number one reason. I've had all types of people. I've had an executive, a CEO of a company. I've actually had a pastor of a church. I've had an attorney. Quite a few people, actually forget and take their guns through security at the airport. So,
yeah, there was a airport employee, 23-year-old Angelina Ortiz, allegedly brought a gun in her purse. She forgot that the gun was in her purse. And in her purse, she had a anxiety drug and a gun with 13 rounds in the mag.
Yeah, and they say most of these guns that they actually find going through security are actually loaded. Loaded.
I mean, what are you going to do with an empty gun?
That's true.
Throw it at someone?
Yeah, well,
Whip them with it?
Harvey Lee, what are we going to do with an empty gun?
Load it.
That's pretty useless right there.
When I was reading that story, I was like, I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. I actually used to work at an airport in my background. I'm not gonna
Nice.
say which one. And
They
I
make
might
that.
have allegedly accidentally brought, a couple of rounds with me, not in a clip, thankfully, but they let me go. Nothing,
In a
no problem,
magazine.
no problem at all. But in a magazine, that's a big deal to them.
Yeah.
But if you keep reading that story, there was like a couple of different substances she had.
Cocaine also, huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you kind of started digging yourself a hole as you continued reading and seeing, wow, how much did she have on her? And you'd be surprised what you could get through security. I mean, like TSA has
Well,
4 years
well,
ago,
in her
they had a
defense,
terrible success rate.
she was impaired
Defense?
Mentally?
with the other drugs that she had in her purse.
Oh.
In her
In
defense.
their defense. Going to work.
In her defense.
You were under the influence. It sounds
She was
like a
under the
great defense.
influence, She's like, look, I was a little high. My bad.
My bad.
My bad. Well, you know what? We have a law in Texas. So if you're in Texas, because we had an elected official actually make a mistake and do this. Totally forgot. Went through security, took his gun through security, and they popped him. They say, "Look, sir, you have a gun in your bag. Ha, this is a felony." He said, "Oh my goodness, I'm an elected official. I work at the Capitol." He said, "I write these laws. I have a license to carry a handgun. I know better than this." And so he said, we need to change the law. So you know what they did? They changed the law.
Come on, man.
That's right. So in Texas now, if you get your license to carry a handgun, this is going to be one of those benefits. You get your license and you totally forget and you go to the airport, which a lot of people are doing this, and you have a gun in your bag, you go through security, you can say, "Oopsie, my bad. I have a license to carry a handgun." They will walk you to your vehicle and let you lock the gun up in your vehicle. There's no criminal charges.
Based.
That's right.
Oh, it's only based
If you have a
because-
license. right?
well, because of one thing that happened
Oh,
a
yeah,
few years
right.
ago,
Right.
which
Elected
I
official.
mean,
Well, of course.
yeah,
The precious politicians.
don't get me started.
You have precious
Right.
politicians, right? I mean, of course you have to make an exception for them. So if something happens to them, you got to make a law.
Yeah, then
You
you change
know,
the law.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, but hey, you get your LTC, you happen to do that. It's a little bit of it's not bad. That's not a bad little.
It's just
gig
going to be a
there.
fine. So you're looking at a fine that could be up to now, because they're raising that limit, it could be up to $14,950.
Damn, that doesn't sound
Ooh,
as
15 grand.
Woo, 15 grand for making that mistake. No
I like how they don't bring it all the way up to 15 grand, but it's 14,950.
14,950. Because you couldn't afford the 50.
Yeah.
That's right. We couldn't make it to 15 because that's a little too much. That tilts, a little too much.
Now, that's the maximum fine, right?
That's the
Or is that just the?
that's the maximum
the
fine.
fine?
That's the maximum. So they can do.
How do they determine that? Judge discretion? Or what?
That's a good point. I don't know, because they can do 1,000 if they want to. They can do 2 grand. They can do 3 grand. They can do 14,000. They can do 14,900, 14,950. So we come back from the break. We got to talk about Amazon, an armed Amazon worker. We're going to go to Chicago. We're going to talk about Breonna Taylor. Going to talk about Oregon. We got a lot to talk about. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Peace. This is Maj Toure. You're listening to Come and Talk It Radio with Michael Cargill. I'm a U.S. Army veteran with a strong sense of duty and respect for our system of government.
After 12 years, I was honorably discharged and decided I would fulfill the American dream of entrepreneurship and open up a gun shop in Austin, Texas. At my shop, I teach people to be law-abiding and how to safely use their firearm. On page 46, we're going to talk about Penal Code Section 46.02. The day that ban went into effect, I went into my local ATF in Austin and turned over my bump stock because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I wasn't going down without a legal fight. So that's why I reached out to NCLA.
NCLA is representing Michael Cargill because federal agencies do not have the power to rewrite statutes. Bump stocks are not machine guns. If Congress wants to change the law and ban bump stocks, it certainly can do so. But we can't have the executive branch rewriting a statute and putting people in jail for up to 10 years.
It's a problem because, this government agency has said, you know what, something that is legal is now illegal, and we're going to confiscate it from you, and we're not going to compensate you for it, and you're going to become a criminal.
The goal of our case here is to tell the ATF that they can't get away with this kind of administrative lawmaking. This isn't constitutionally permissible, and this goes against everything that our nation was founded on.
The bump stock ban turned innocent law-abiding citizens into criminals overnight, even though they were compliant with the statute. And that's not right.
This case is not about where you stand on bump stocks. It's about the rule of law. It's about whether an agency can rewrite a statute and turn a law-abiding citizen into a criminal. If the ATF can ban bump stocks, any agency can ban anything.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
Warehouse in Chandler, Arizona there. And one employee of the warehouse, a contract worker for Amazon, was shot multiple times by Murphy. And then, man, that's just a crazy scene. And so now my question, is he going to be fired? Because that's Amazon, and they don't like guns. What do you think? Anybody? No one wants to take a gamble with that one?
Yeah, that's hit or miss.
Yes, right? Well, let me see. Amazon has a strict policy against delivery drivers carrying weapons while working, even if a driver has a concealed carry license. Okay, that's in their little handbook there. And there's a question that someone, can I carry a gun at, in Amazon in Texas? Well, you can carry a gun, but they don't like you to do that at Amazon.
It's sad that even though, someone stopped this guy from doing any more harm, he's probably going to lose his job because of that, right?
Yeah, we'll see. I'm willing to bet he's going to get fired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely willing to bet he's going to get fired because that's Amazon, and Amazon is based out of what, California?
No, they're
Where are they based out of? Washington State?
Yeah.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Washington State, California, it's all the same. So, yeah.
Yeah, their headquarters in Seattle. I think that's where they started.
He's fired. I'm willing to bet. I'll put some money on that one. So, what do you think?
Yeah, they just enacted magazine limits.
Really?
Uh-huh.
In Washington State?
Yeah, 10 rounds.
Wow, they're getting like Colorado, huh?
Oregon as well, and Colorado, right?
It's okay. It's okay Washington or Oregon. Where was Chad located? The Chad.
That's Seattle, right outside of
Seattle?
Seattle and
So,
Capitol Hill.
so Seattle. So it's okay to take over a police department, but you can't have 10 round, more than 10 round magazine.
Mm-hmm.
But you can take over the police department.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. All right, just want to know. All right, so let's talk about Chicago. Man, you see that video of Chicago?
That was insane.
Which one?
You saw it?
Which one? That narrows it down.
Yeah, right.
Well, apparently you should never start a fight with a random person. You really should be polite to people. You should go out of your way to be nice, not go out of your way to be nasty to people. Give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're having a bad day. Something's going on with family. Something happened at work. So you should go out of your way to be nice to other people because you just never know what are some of the things they're actually going through that moment in time. So a recently paroled felon has been charged with gunning down 3 people and then shooting one of their daughters in the head, leading Chicago's top cop to beg judges to throw away the key and finally get him off of their streets. So apparently Samuel Parsons Salas, 32, was caught on camera grabbing a gun from a vehicle outside of Vero's Lounge early Sunday. This happened last week. Then picking out his victims, shooting some at point-blank range. And the daughter of one of the 3 people killed was seen running up to her fallen father, just for Parsons Salas to walk up and shoot her point-blank in the head, leaving her in critical condition, according to what the Chicago Sun-Times says. The violent felon, who was finally arrested Monday after running from SWAT, was also charged with kidnapping a woman he allegedly held hostage while fleeing. I tell you, man, that's Chicago, though. I'm not surprised by anything that happens in Chicago. What happens in Chicago stays in Chicago. Hope it doesn't drift over here in Austin. Hope people don't learn that stuff. That's some crazy stuff. And you really, like I said, don't start arguments or fights with random people that you don't know, because you just never know what they're going through or what's going on in their life. So you just let that stuff go. Let's get on down the road. It'll make life a lot easier. What do you think? You know what? And we have a special guest here in the studio. Zach, who's our guest?
This is Anna.
Anna. Hello, Anna.
Hello.
Anna, where are you from?
I'm from Spain.
From Spain. Anna's from Spain. She came all the way to Texas to go to the gun range to go shoot at Central Texas Gunworks. You know what? Anna, how was your day today at the gun range?
It has been great experience.
Really? And what did you shoot today? What did you like shooting? Did you enjoy it? How was it?
Well, I enjoyed. It was my first time, and I shoot. I think 2 guns and 3 rifles. Different. I'm not very familiar with guns.
No.
At all. Nothing.
But if you want to learn about guns, you definitely should come to Texas. Good place
Sure.
to learn guns, right?
Sure.
That's right.
I
So,
suggest everyone who wants
so when you go back home to Italy, you
say,
go to
go
Texas
to
and learn how
Spain.
to
Yes.
shoot. Spain. Go to Texas and learn how to shoot, right?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Nice. I'm glad you had a great time. It was exciting. What about the shotgun? What'd you think about that?
Oh, it's really strong and it's difficult to handle.
Yeah.
For me.
Okay. What about the AR?
It's you feel like powerful when you have to shoot.
Nice.
With this.
So you want to go back home and buy one of those, or take one back home with you?
I think no.
No?
We are not ready for this.
You're not ready for. You're ready
No.
for it.
Pretty sure you can't just go buy a gun in Spain.
It's called freedom.
Kind of.
You're ready.
Just if I go hunting,
Yeah.
that's the only moment or way
That's it.
I could use this.
Okay. All right.
in
Just for
Spain.
hunting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't hunt. I use mine for self-defense.
Well,
All right. Well,
I'm trying to understand now. It's different,
right. Right.
but it's hard to explain in Spain or understand
Right. Right.
in Europe too.
Yeah. And it's one thing about the United States, I think we're founded on firearms, and so we kind of latched on and held on to those. We figured that, hey, we can gain our freedom by owning guns and being able to defend ourselves. And we learned that, years, decades ago. And so we held on to that. You know what? We want to be able to keep them, because being able to have access to a firearm, meaning that I can maintain and keep my freedom. And I think that's why we cling on to them here in the United States. I think that's important. I don't think any country is gonna they'll think twice before trying to come to the United States, or definitely come to Texas and try to, take over Texas, because we all have guns, right, Zach?
Yeah, so if a foreign military invaded, like Canada, for example, where the people
We
are
will
not even
we will
allowed
let
to
them
own pistols,
we'll let them
right?
take Canada.
Yeah, then none of the citizens can do anything about it, right? It would have to be the military. They would have to step in, right? But they do that in America. Uh, you go to some homes and they have 500 guns in their home. Not saying any
Someone said
names,
no audio from Michael's mic. Oh yeah.
but yeah, they'll have to deal with the citizens as well as the army. But that's kind of you know, that's the last thing you have to worry about. Some
Mm,
foreign army invading, right?
really?
There are a lot of more pressing matters at
Mm,
hand. Self-defense being an important one.
yeah, yeah. What do you think, Harley?
I mean, a populace that is not armed could be easily taken over and instituted a dictatorship, you know? And I'll quote my friend here, there's nothing like Texas, the Lone Star State.
That's right. We have a pledge.
Texas, the Lone Star State. There's no place like it.
It's
Texas is like a whole other country.
It used to be.
it's like going to the classroom and watching the students stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance, and then turn and say, the Texas Pledge. It's amazing. It's a great state. I love it. It's the only state that I know of. I could be wrong.
It's the only state you know of. There's like a bunch of other ones, Michael.
Only state that I know of that you can walk into the Capitol and carry a handgun in the open or concealed. I don't know of any other state in the United States you can do that.
Better have your license if you're going to try that.
Yeah. So I'm just curious. Are there any other states out there? Man, give us a call. Let me know.
Wait, do you have to have your license to open carry inside the Capitol?
Concealed carry, open carry, at least during session while there's an open meeting taking place. Legally, you have to have a license. That is
Oh,
correct.
okay. So,
So now-
constitutional carriers need not try and get in.
Right.
During those times.
I don't know what they're gonna do during session. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Start instituting fines like the TSA.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do that or not. I don't know if they're going to say, hey, you can go through a special line. I think they were allowing people through a different line to run your background and then allow you to carry in the building without a license.
They're doing a background check on everyone?
On the constitutional carry?
Oh.
I believe so. I don't know. I actually did it. I went in without my license.
With a shotgun?
I showed them my driver's license. They ran my driver's license, did a background check. And so we'll see when we come back from the break. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Peace. This is Maj Toure. You're listening to Come and Talk It Radio with Michael Cargill.
Good job.
No más.
Good job.
Mucho más.
Yes.
Mucho más
I
palabras.
won't mess with you anymore.
No, thank you.
Okay? I'll leave you alone. You did good. You handle it well. You're very calm,
No.
relaxed, and posed. Yes.
I will be more relaxed now.
You're
I
very
finished
relaxed.
my
You're very
moment.
relaxed and confident.
Mucho más.
Yes.
Did great. I butchered your quote. There's nothing like Texas.
Yes.
You know what I was trying to do there, right?
Yes.
I butchered your
Of
quote.
course he
That's
does.
okay.
I'm
He
really
looks
bad
at the gift
that.
section every day.
I know, right? he sent it to me today. I'm like, you sent it to me like I just scrolled up and I was like, I have it in there from
5
last
more
time.
times.
I'm like, I have it in there from last time.
Oh my goodness.
We're staying on, aren't we?
Oh crap, we are still on. Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing? Is Gary out there? Is Gary paying attention? Gary, are you listening, Gary?
Gary.
That's right. Oh man, someone's missing. We're missing Thomas. We're missing Thomas.
Thomas isn't here?
Thomas is not here. That's unusual. Yeah.
It is.
We do have who's Yoder, Texas?
Rob Yoder.
No. Yeah, it is Rob. It is. That's right. Okay. All right. Luis. What's up, Luis? And see, man, what are we gonna talk about here? Oregon. What is this Oregon LGBTQ? What is that about?
There's gays in Oregon? What?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
I do not know. Duh. Really? You don't say. Okay. Breonna Taylor's boyfriend. Blah, blah, blah. All right.
Some of Oregon's trans and queer gun supporters are worried that a new state law will prevent them from buying.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so let's go to Oregon. I almost said Oregon, Texas for a second. You know, Texas is the only state that matters.
Please no.
Yeah.
Please no.
Yeah, northern Texas, Oregon over
Stay
there.
away.
There are other states?
Yeah. All right, so let's go to Oregon. So apparently, Oregon's LGBTQ elemental P community is worried that a new law will keep them from obtaining guns. What a concept. Well, you know, you should go vote or vote the right way. Vote for people that are, going to, have your interests at mind. So some of Oregon's trans and queer gun supporters are worried that a new state law will prevent them from buying firearms. The law, Measure 114, grants county sheriffs and police chiefs discretion to determine who qualifies to purchase a firearm under a new permit to purchase program. But Measure 114 lacks criteria clearly defining what disqualifies applicants, details on what makes someone a threat, and what data can be used by law enforcement in making the decision. That's a problem for activists who have critiqued the law, and particularly in the racial justice protests that took place over the past 2 years. According to one person there in Oregon, they say, hey, they feel like if they were to go online and say like the police are terrorists or something like that, it would be like, well, you seem like you might not be a fit for this community to be armed, according to what Mia Rose has to say. So, man, so it looks like they're adopting that little program of looking at people's social media to see if, hey, should you be able to purchase a gun?
They need to look at their social credit scores. We need a system like China's.
What do you think about
credit
that?
Scores.
Yeah.
Where they look at all your history of social media posts, comments, replies, and they also go through your phone. You get access to your iCloud, your text messages, just to make sure that you're a person that should have a gun,
That's a bunch of malarkey.
What do you think?
Sounds like Joe Grimaldi from Houston,
Mr. Group. Oh yeah, the Houston Police Association chair or
He's
whatever,
terrible.
president or whatever.
But look, this is what happens when you start putting asterisks and regulations on civil liberties and individual rights. Honestly, if I was them, I'd probably be more, I'm thinking about, look, I mean, everybody calls, transgenderism and various different forms of identity and sexual identity like mental illness. I mean, this is something I would say too. Why are we putting, asterisks and regulations on people with mental illness in many ways too, right? Like when you're starting to push for gun control and regulations, even in the slightest bit, before too long, that's going to come back to affect you as an individual and your individual rights.
I mean, I do have a problem. Them, they. That tells me that's more than one person.
Who's they?
If you're more than one person, then that's mental illness.
They, them.
They,
But
them.
who's they?
Exactly.
They, them.
Don't know.
I don't know.
So don't want to get into that. Then I'll get yelled at later
know.
on when I go home. I'll get in so much trouble.
Why?
I always get in trouble.
Why is that?
Every time I get out there, I get in trouble.
You do?
Yes, I stay in trouble.
Best way to stay.
That's right. It's what happens. It's life. All right, so I want to talk about 300 deaths in Austin last year. Hear about that story?
That's the most of any year, right?
300 deaths. Now, they're not saying homicides or anything
just
like
deaths,
that.
right?
Yeah, they're saying deaths. So, 296 people experienced homelessness and died on Austin streets over the last year. Each one was remembered, and even if they didn't have names, with a single chime from a crystal vase last Sunday. And what happened was the nonprofit house housed the homeless has been hosting the vigil for 30 years. Advocates coordinate with the Travis County Medical Examiner and the community to compile a list of dead. This year's death toll exceeded last year's 251 persons count and set a record. So 251 homeless people, apparently, they're saying, that died. So now I have problems about the numbers and how they're tallying that stuff. Because when I'm looking at homicides reported by the Austin Police Department,
It's like 100 or something, right?
it's like less than 100. So it's like 70, 80.
I was about to say, I heard 60 something.
Right,
recently.
around that
But
number.
when
I'm
I
not.
saw that, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I'm not 250. So I definitely have a problem with how we're
I thought
doing
there were
this.
about 100 homicides or something, right?
Right,
Didn't
so-
we hit a record
So
for that?
yeah, so are these homicides or not? Someone dies, isn't that considered a homicide or what? Maybe not. Maybe it was. I don't know.
Well, you're talking about the homeless. So
heart
that's what they're
attack?
probably talking about. Maybe people
They don't
that
count
just-
because they're homeless.
Well, I'm saying that's what they're probably talking about. Just people that are just maybe dying on the streets, or maybe even in just random accidents or whatnot. Who knows?
Well, if this number is getting that high, we need to change what we're doing. Maybe we need to go back to enforcing what the people voted on, and no sitting in line and no camping, and maybe that will save lives.
Yeah. How long did that go into effect last year? Like 3 months, and then nothing.
Back to normal.
Yeah, back to normal.
It's back to where it was.
Right. I mean, it was dramatic change. Don't get me wrong. I
Right.
mean, I was super surprised. I should have taken before and after pictures. I think many people did, but now you should take pictures again because not much has changed.
Yeah, because we have so many different weird things that happen around the gun store, where we had, like, what was it, last week? A guy was on the sidewalk, and we have a video that we actually posted online there. He was on the sidewalk, and he was literally he thought he was tied up, and he wasn't tied up. We actually just walked up to the guy and said, "Relax your arms, relax your legs, stand up, you're free." And he stood up and he walked. It's just crazy. We don't have facilities for people where they can go. And we talk about this stuff all the time. Every story, kind of, every show, it relates back to the same thing. I'm just hoping that the people that we put in office after this current election will actually do something different. What do you think?
Yeah.
No,
Sure.
maybe not.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was
So-
Greg Casar.
Optimistic thought.
Well, yeah, they're saying, this year's death toll, like I said, exceeded 251 persons count. Some of the people who died, including 5 adults and an infant, couldn't be identified by any next of kin. Their names are still unknown. So
An unknown infant?
unknown.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, that's serious. So that's definitely a problem. Let's go to New Mexico. New Mexico. What do you think they did? Got a guess?
Meth?
Think it's meth? Well, surveillance video from New Mexico State Police shows last month's deadly shootout between suspended New Mexico State University basketball player Mike Peake and 19-year-old University of New Mexico student Brandon Travis. I guess maybe they had a little rival thing going on there, maybe. Investigators released more, including interviews with coaches and the search for the gun involved and all that good kind of stuff. Man, very good detailed video. That goes back to we really need to make people take conflict resolution courses. Really.
Oh, yeah, the state police actually seized the New Mexico State University coaches' phones
Really?
in the probe.
Oh, because they're probably hiding something. they're definitely covering something up, and they're taking care of their players. They're
Mhm.
trying to help them out. Hey, this is what you should do, and I get it. I understand. But I think we do need to have like conflict resolution, something. We with with the way crime is actually increasing, the amount of convictions that we're having, uh, the 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 numbers are actually increasing with people that are unlawfully carrying weapons in certain places, unlawfully carrying, period. Um, I think we need to get to a point where we're gonna have to force people to take courses or classes. I hate to say that, and it kind of and I know the people that are constitutional carry are gonna dislike me or hate me for this, but I do get it. It is a right, it's a freedom, but if we I don't know, man. The numbers are just killing me right now, and I'm afraid of what the numbers are going to look like in when we hit 2023. What the 2022 numbers are going to look like. So, I don't know. What do you think, Zach?
I'm sure it'll just keep going up every year.
You think it'll go up every year
Well, the population goes up, so relative to the population,
Wait,
if it even stays the same, then it's going up.
per capita?
Yeah.
I think Austin's increasing per capita on a very large scale, very fast, because we were at X amount of numbers, in 2019, and our numbers increase, but they didn't increase as fast as the crime. I don't think.
We get more tourism now.
I
Like
think
that big shooting that happened with 14 people injured and one dead. The guy from New York that was
right.
killed.
The mass shooting.
That was somebody from out of town. So that's not
Right.
even, a resident of Austin.
Right. That's true. That is true. Um, and I think people, even today, it's 2022. Here we are, December 2022, and it shocks me. I'm actually just shocked and surprised the fact that people don't put their head on the swivel. Look around, check your surroundings. I watched something happened to someone earlier this week where they pulled into a parking lot, parked their vehicle, left their laptop on the front seat of the passenger side of the vehicle, and walked into a business. And I'm thinking, it's 2022. I would never do that. I would never leave my laptop, my computer on the front seat of my vehicle and then walk into a business where I'm going to be for the next hour. That just makes sense to me. I just don't get that. Today we've all talked about, lock it up, lock it, take it, hide it, put it in the trunk, do what you need to do. Why would you leave your, something, that's important to you on the front seat of your vehicle, especially during the holidays when that's all people are doing to break into cars. We have man, we're gonna talk about what's that little thing that they're doing where they're following people from the bank and following them somewhere else and then rob jugging. Yes. Do you know how much money has been stolen from people from jugging in Austin, Texas alone just in 2022? You have to put a number on it. What would you guess? What number? How much?
1.3 million.
How did you know? Yes, $1.3 million have been stolen from people, in this jugging thing that they're naming it. And they're calling it jugging, where they follow someone from the bank or somewhere, they go somewhere else and then they rob them. It's $1.3 million in 2022 just in Austin, Texas, from a little over, 1,000 people. They've stolen that much money. And it's a big deal now because people are starting to talk about it. Before, they didn't talk about it. No one wanted, that owner of the bar, the owner of the restaurant didn't want to tell anyone that they were robbed when they left the bank or going to the bank. They didn't want to mention that. Now they're talking about it, and we're talking $1.3 million, and the year is not even over. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Folks, this is Doug Man Jones. And I get my gun news from Michael Cargill at Come and Talk It.
Man, how was your week? What'd you do?
My week.
What'd you do?
Man, I gotta respond to what you're saying. You're killing me over here, Mike.
What do you think? Huh? What?
You're killing me, dog.
Am I killing
Yeah,
you?
how was your week?
man.
What'd you do, Harvey Lee?
What'd you do?
I've been busy.
Doing what?
What you been doing?
Just honestly, my sleeping schedule's been all over the place. So I mean, it's just been
Who are you
crazy.
sleeping with?
Myself. I'm just like, I've been working so hard. I've been literally like, I have the rest of the year off now. So like working
that's nice.
working in the political realm and stuff like that. I just
Next year's gonna be a big year then, huh?
not really.
Next year's an off year.
Yeah, next year's an off year for like
Those odd year
elections.
right?
In 2024,
for elections, not
right?
for session.
Right, 20. Yeah, so for elections, and then 2024 elections start up again.
Yeah,
December.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, 20. Yeah, so
2023 December.
Yeah, it's 2023. There's a few like states, but that's going to be, that's pretty much going to be preparation for 2024, which is going to be the big dog.
What about you, Anna? How's your week?
It has been very interesting.
How was your flight? How long was your flight?
Oh, so long. Very long trip.
How long?
Almost 24 hours.
24 hours.
3
Nice.
flights.
Did you get did you have one of those seats where you can lay down?
Yes, sure.
Nice.
Because I'm a cabin crew and I fly Madrid to Miami in my company.
Oh, so you're a flight attendant.
Yeah.
You go, girl. That's what I'm talking about.
And they upgrade me to business class. So I have was very lucky.
Nice.
To travel like sleeping.
Nice. Did you help out a little bit during the flight with the crew?
Yeah.
You helped them out? Okay, good. That's good. That's nice of you.
Yeah.
That's because they make their job a little easier.
Sure.
That's good. Awesome. Nice. And do you always go back and forth from there to Miami? That's your regular flight?
One of them.
Ooh, that's long. That's good. That's actually good pay because I hear that flight attendants are only paid when the door closes.
Yes.
So when the door is open, you're not paid. When that door to the plane is open, you're not being paid.
In fact, no, we are paid. We pay the maintenance, the hotel, the meals.
Right.
And in our salary, it includes this time we are not at home.
Okay, it does. Okay.
If it's 1 day or 2, we are
that.
paid for that.
Okay. Okay. All right. And then once you get on the plane, once the doors close, then the clock starts.
Yes.
Okay.
We are paid for flight hours, for destination, for the meals.
Yeah. So you should be nice to your flight attendants out there. Don't be mean to them. Don't give them a hard time. Let them get in the plane, sit in your seat, let them close the door so they can start getting paid. Right? And show up for your flight on time.
Yes.
Not late, right?
On time. Always.
Great advice.
And don't sneak a gun on the plane.
No.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so we're back. And boy, we're talking about not sneaking a gun on a plane. Man, what is up with people trying to carry, mistakenly, accidentally carrying guns in your carry-on luggage to get on an airplane?
Oops.
Don't you know it's 2022? You should know, here we are coming up on that Christmas season. It's Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa. You're traveling, going to grandma's house. Here's what you do, okay? Make sure that where you start out from, you can legally own and possess that firearm. The state you're traveling to, you can legally own and possess that firearm. Make sure it's in a hard case, lockable case. If there are 2 holes in that case for locks, then have 2 locks. If there are 3 holes in that case for the locks, then have 3 locks. Hard case, lockable case. No ammunition in the gun. No ammunition in the magazine. You can travel with the ammunition, but it needs to be an original factory box or carton. So in my hard case, lockable case, I'm going to put my box of ammunition, my empty handgun, my empty magazine. I'm going to close it, lock it, put that in my luggage, close it, lock it, go to the ticket counter, inform the ticket agent at the ticket counter that I'm traveling with a firearm and ammunition. They're going to do that, whatever they do. They may have you sign some paperwork. They may inspect it. They may have you go to somewhere else. They may inspect it there. Then it goes underneath the plane. It gets checked. You cannot go through security. You cannot go through the metal detectors with no firearms, no ammunition, not 1 bullet. No parts, no pieces, no holsters, no triggers, no screws, no springs, no uppers, no lowers, no nada through security.
What about an empty casing?
No, not even an empty casing. Everything needs to be checked to its final destination.
What happens if you bring an empty casing? Will you get arrested?
So put it in a little baggie or something, little packaging. Put it in your checked luggage.
What if you flew all the way from Spain and you didn't check any luggage? Then where do you put it?
Oh, well, you can't take it. If you don't check your luggage?
No.
Oh, then you can't take that casing back.
She knows what happens to the luggage when you check it.
Yes. You risk that chance. Don't risk that chance over the little shell casing. It's not worth it. All right. Let's see. All right. So what we're going to talk about next? We're going to go to Idaho. What happened in Idaho? Anybody know? Idaho. Let's see. Well, as friends and family gather on the University of Idaho's campus this weekend for fall graduations, feelings of excitement and relief to be finishing school. Well, Moscow authorities have not named any suspects, but they haven't made any arrests in the case since 4 students, Ethan 20, Xana 20, Kaylee 21, and Madison 21, were stabbed to death in their home near campus between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. on that Sunday. With commencement this weekend, there'll be an influx of people coming in from out of town, and the Moscow Police Department said in a Saturday morning press release, adding that the department and Idaho State Police will provide coverage on campus and in Moscow area. As always, they want to remind the public to stay vigilant, travel in groups, and communicate with family and friends as you travel. Now, that's going to be someone either dating someone or someone angry that someone was sleeping with someone else. So it's just a matter of checking their acquaintances, I think. And the police, I know the police have a lead. I'm willing to bet they have someone in mind they think that did this.
What do you think happened?
It's going to be either someone was angry because someone was dating someone else, or someone liked someone and they didn't like them and got angry. We're talking students. We're talking college students. Simple. It's not a hard concept. Very easy. It'll be something simple like that. Always is.
I don't know. The media makes it out to be a slasher series over here.
Nah, this is not going to be some random stuff. No one just randomly, killed random people, 4 people. I doubt it very seriously.
Hey, you sound like you hit the nail right on the head, but the media is like trying to get some ratings obviously, over here.
Well, and speaking of the media, what's Alex Stringer?
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Back in May?
Yeah.
And for some reason, this story has circled around back again. People are upset at Alex Stringer because he went up to one of the reporters in Austin, Texas, who happened to be a good-looking black female. And he said to her, why do you guys always, sensationalize, shootings? And she didn't have an answer for it, And I wouldn't have done something like that. I wouldn't put her on the spot like that and videotaped it and posted the video online. I would never have done that or interrupted, her while she's working. I think that's rude, kind of disrespectful. But I agree with the question. Why does the media do this? Why does the media always sensationalize shootings? Because it's ratings. It's all about ratings and them making the money off of, their advertisement. Because if you ask them, because someone was debating me, asking me this question earlier today, well, I disagree with you, Michael. Well, check this out. If you ask the media, why do you guys not discuss suicides? And they'll tell you, we don't do reporting on suicides because if we did, there would be more suicides. Then why do they do the reporting on shootings? They know the results of what the reporting is going to do. And they'll ask just walk up to any media, don't record or anything like that. Just ask them, whisper in their ear, hey, how come you guys don't report on suicides? And they'll tell you, because there will be more suicides if we reported on them, so we don't report on them.
Yeah, remember when we did the town hall with former land commissioner Jerry Patterson?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, we asked basically, what is one thing that if you had the power to just wave a wand and make happen, what would it be? And his, in order to reduce these, mass shooting type situations, and he said for the media to stop reporting. He prefaced it by saying, I know that we can't do this because of a free press,
right?
But If I could wave my wand, I would make the media stop reporting on these mass shootings.
He's right.
Mm-hmm.
He's right. And that's, the more, whenever there's a shooting and they cover it from wall to wall, they talk about it all day long, then what happens? There's always a copycat shootings afterwards.
Yeah, and they always talk about the shooter. They say his full name, middle name included. They say his age. They say his kill count. They say all the guns that he used. They show pictures of them. They talk about his motive. Sometimes they'll reference his manifesto. They will talk about him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for weeks, right? They memorialize it practically.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you practically know the shooters and the murderers' names better than the victims at this point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now, you definitely don't know the victims' names at all.
Faintly, but, the name they say the most is the shooter's name. Middle name and all.
All right, so let's go to New York. So over in New York, a federal appeals court on Monday allowed New York to restrict the carrying of firearms on private property under a new law adopted in the wake of a major U.S. Supreme Court ruling that expand gun rights. So the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals put on hold a judge's order from last month that barred officials from enforcing part of the new law, making it a felony to carry a gun on private property without the property owner's express consent.
So you need express consent, not just the ability of the property owner to say, no, I don't want guns on, and then you can't carry guns on the property, but you have to actually get their permission. And if you hadn't gotten their explicit permission, then it's a crime?
Yeah. Well, the law was enacted after the Supreme Court in June struck down the state's strict gun permitting regime and declared for the first time that the U.S. Constitution protects a person's right to carry a handgun in public for self-defense. And the new law made obtaining a firearm license more difficult as of September the 1st and barred firearms from a long list of sensitive public and private places. So 2 firearm owners and 2 gun rights groups, including Firearms Policy Coalition, sued challenging a provision that made it a felony for a licensed gun owner to possess a firearm on any private property unless the property owner allowed it with a sign or by giving express consent. So, it just looks like people in New York are fighting back a little bit. I think the times are telling. I think, going through 2020 with the pandemic, 2021 and 2022 with the increase of, increase of crimes here, I think people are wanting to, knowing that the police are not going to be there, knowing that when you call 911, you can probably be put on hold. You're not going to, before you get to a dispatcher, you may have to wait 5 minutes during peak times from getting to a dispatcher, that you may have to be your own first responder. People are saying, hey, I need to be able to have the ability to protect myself, on private property, because police or the dispatcher, 911, may not even answer the phone call, let alone show up. Showing up, that's a whole nother story. I was talking to some people that were reporting, some car break-ins, and they're like, they called the police and the police never showed, and that's a common thing, never showed at all. So you're going to have to be your own first responder. It's time, people, you need to learn how to shoot. I say learn self-defense. Right in our little complex, we have Krav Maga, we have Mai Tai, and we have a gun store. You got your choices. I say go to all 3. Go to Krav Maga, go over to Mai Tai, get yourself a gun. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It. Sorry about that. Long-winded today.
That's okay. You're on the radio.
It's a little long-winded. Don't want to shut up.
Got a lot of stuff to say.
I got a lot to talk about. I got a lot to say, and I want you to hear it. Oh, man. Zach, how was your week?
My week was great.
Yeah? What'd you do?
Oh, a lot of stuff.
Yeah?
Armadillo Christmas Bazaar yesterday.
What is that?
That's this thing that they have up at the Palmer Center.
Was it armadillos?
Yeah, a bunch of armadillos.
And Christmas decorations?
Uh-huh.
That's what it sounds like.
It's like a
Never heard of
fair,
it. Never heard of
if
it.
you will.
That's what it sounds
Bunch
like.
of pop-up shops. They sell
Nice.
gifts, art. Had live music. Gary P. Nunn was playing.
Yeah.
A lot of touristy stuff, around town.
All right.
Taking care of the puppies,
Nice. Little doggies. They're quiet now. They were noisy early, the first 30 minutes of the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they calm down now.
I don't know if you guys noticed, for the last, month, we've had dogs, 2 puppies in the studio.
More, like 2-3 months.
3 months? It's been that
Yeah,
long?
It's been a while.
Okay, we've had puppies in the studio, and let me tell you, they're rowdy. They're a rowdy bunch.
They're puppies.
It takes them a
okay?
while to settle down.
They're
like,
baby
"Ow."
dogs. That's
Okay.
what they do.
Yeah, little bitches. We're not on
right.
air. We're not on air.
It's a female dog. You can say that on the air. You can talk about a female dog.
I can
Can't
talk
you?
about bitches on the air.
Can you talk about bitches on the air? You can talk about bitches on the air.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. I don't feel. I don't feel like talking about bitches on the air. My mother would call me if I talk about bitches on the air. I can hear it now.
X-nay on the
X-nay on the
bitchay.
on the
itch bay.
itch bay bitches. Someone says, "Hey, do you guys know you're still on the air?"
What about you, Michael? How's your week?
My week was okay. My week was good. It's I have the same schedule. My schedule never changes. Thursday class, Saturday class, Sunday class. Craziness.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday?
Yeah, everything. Crazy stuff during the week.
You don't do Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday,
not
Friday
a class, but we do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Customers. Customers. Friday, customers. Just trying to get people their stuff. Trying to help people out, trying to figure things out. Answer people's questions. This happened to me. Hey, I got charged with this crime. I did this. I made a mistake and did this. What do I do?
Oh, you got to play lawyer as well?
Well, I'm not an attorney. I can't give people legal advice.
Sounds like that's what you're doing.
I do not give legal advice. So, but it gets kind of crazy. So, just typical stuff. People always mess up and they want, they're like, hey, I messed up.
They call you.
Yeah. It is what it is. You'd be surprised. This happened with a family member of mine. My uncle, my great-grandfather, my dad, is like 90 years old, and we need to remove their guns from the house. How do we do it? What do we do? Where can we take them? I have this, random ammunition I need to get rid of. What do I do? Just typical, same old stuff. What's heartbreaking is when you call someone and you tell them that, hey, they have a gun they have to pick up, and when
They're dead.
And they're dead. That's hard. That has happened. If it
Welcome
can happen,
back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
all right. Boy, you don't want to know what we're talking about during the break. You do not want to know. All right, so what do you think about New York? You think New York's gonna? I'm happy for the people in New York. I'm happy for the Firearms Policy Coalition and the other gun rights groups that are in New York that are fighting back against the state of New York. And there's some great cases out there, and I think this Supreme Court, is going to. I think we're going to get some things done here as far as the Second Amendment. Let's talk about gun in bars. Gun in bars. Did we talk about that last time?
Can't do that. Not in Texas.
I thought we talked about that.
Most of the places that used to be bars here in Austin had turned into restaurants, though.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think we discussed that last week. Yeah, we did, because this was the Moose Knuckle Pub. Yeah, people call me up.
Moose knuckle.
Yeah, Moose Knuckle.
Is that like camel toe?
I don't know. What is that?
Which one?
The Moose Knuckle.
Are they different?
Moose nugget. I don't know. You're asking the wrong person. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's not my area. of
He's like, I'm
expertise.
going to stay away from that.
I'll look on Urban Dictionary here.
I do not know how to answer that question.
God's gonna get you for that.
Okay. All right, so I think we talked about that.
Oh, moose knuckle. Ah, I see now.
What is it? What
That's
is it?
The male version.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, I did not know.
Mhm.
To the
Yeah.
to the
The male equivalent to the
federal government that regulates the radio waves, I did not know that. Now I know. Okay. Where's that located?
What do you mean? Where is it located? In between.
Okay. All right. So moving on. Someone on YouTube's gonna have to tell me, or Facebook, or Twitter, because I don't know. I need a picture. I need a diagram, people. I need to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
Because I represent science.
That's right, and I need to know. Oh man. Okay. You know what?
Moose Knuckle Pub. That's the name of a bar here in Austin.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What happened there?
Well, I think we talked about it last week, where a guy actually walked into the bar there, and he tried to pass a gun to a friend of his because the bouncer door guy, didn't, let him in. And I have a gripe with that because
He had two guns.
No, he had one.
Man arrested after trying to get into East.
Oh, you're right. He
Street
did
bar with two guns.
You're right. He did have two guns. You're correct.
This guy, from his picture, he looks like he'd be doing something.
Yeah, I would racial profile him too.
Two guns. Dante Banks.
He looked like he hiding something.
He was patted down outside the bar and then tried to convince the bouncer.
Look at his eyes. He's hiding something.
Yeah, he's hiding the two things. More.
But I have a gripe with that because they're using bouncers, and I think these guys, I think they use like security, actual security, certified security through the state of Texas.
Security officers,
either level 2 security or level 3 security who are armed. I think they use them, at the door. They're getting off cheap by just using bouncers who really have no power, no authority whatsoever.
There is a bar on the east side of Dirty 6th Street, very close to the highway. What's that bar called that's really close to 35?
On 6th Street?
It's owned by that woman that owns like the pink taco place.
Ooh.
What's her name?
Like the gayest taco place in the country?
Yeah, that one.
In the world?
Same person. Supposedly it's money from,
Money from what?
From ill-gotten gains south of the border. But they have AR-15s.
Allegedly.
Guys with plate carriers and AR-15s outside.
Really?
Yeah.
Where's this bar?
It's just west of 35 on 6th Street.
Okay.
On the north side.
Well, someone do a Google search. We're going to go there right after the show. Okay, moving on. Go ahead. I didn't even see this. Really? With plate carriers and ARs?
Yep, I've seen it.
Oh, then if that's the case, it's who's attending this place is the question.
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, because if you got ARs and plate carriers, it's who's going to this place.
Yes, Malavita.
Malavita. What does it look like? Spell it.
Malavida.
Malava?
Vida. Mala.
Malavida?
Bad life, right?
I don't. Malavita. There it is.
They have tight security out there.
Lively bar nightclub. It's closed right now. It opens at 10:30 p.m. Wow. 10:30. What time they close? They close at 2, open at 10:30? That's sus. That's definitely sus. Have you heard of it?
Not at all.
We're going to check it out. I'm not open. I'm not even up that late.
I was about to say.
I'm asleep by like 8 o'clock, 7.
I texted you last night. You were asleep.
I was.
Yeah.
You're like, hey man, we're out. You want to come join us?
Come to the bar.
I was like, shh. That was like 8. I was snoring.
Yeah, you were asleep.
Yeah, and I woke up at like 1. I was like, dude, I was asleep. And went back to sleep. Yeah, that's wild, man. Yeah, I'm 10:30. I can't go. I don't leave my house. I don't leave the house at 10:30. You know what happens after midnight in this town?
What?
You don't want to know what happens after midnight in this town.
How do you know?
That's what happens after midnight after this town.
You wound up on the show.
That's right. we talk about you when you're out at midnight after this town. So we don't do stuff like that. No way. Yeah. We could be from Italy, Spain.
Yeah, you don't even go out till 2 in the morning.
In Spain?
Yeah.
Really? 2? But Spain, you guys can do. There are a lot of drugs that are legal in Spain, right?
Legal.
Portugal,
drugs.
everything's legal.
But what about Spain? Little
No. Illegal.
Diesel?
Yeah.
Shrooms?
What is wrong?
Okay. What's legal in Spain?
Weed is decriminalized for personal cultivation and use.
Okay.
You can take a little amount of marijuana, for example.
Little amount of
if
marijuana?
It's for your consumption.
Okay.
Drug
That-
consumption is not a crime in Spain.
Can you drink at 18?
Yes.
Ooh. Man, nice to be a teenager.
Mhm.
That's why I like my Spanish movies. Yeah, because they're always drinking and having parties and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's not illegal to use drugs.
But it's illegal to purchase.
Consumption is not illegal
Consumption is not illegal. In
Mhm.
Spain?
in Spain.
Hmm.
They have never technically criminalized drug possession.
Hmm.
But yeah, I probably wouldn't.
Maybe the dealing of? Selling?
That's
The
probably
selling is
Dealing,
probably.
selling,
illegal.
and carry on a big amount of drug.
So they punish the dealers, but not the users.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
When I went to Portugal, I would be approached by people trying to sell like all kinds of stuff.
Yes.
Really? Like what?
Heroin, hash.
What? Say
Yeah.
no.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah.
Just say no, like Nancy Reagan.
One time, this guy was openly trying to sell us, what was it, like heroin or something like that, or
Mhm.
meth. I can't remember. But there were police officers 10 feet away,
And they were like,
uniformed police officers.
and he didn't even care.
No, because it's not illegal.
Oh, wow. You're just like, wow.
Mhm.
Amazed by that.
I was amazed.
Shocked.
Yeah.
Hmm. Portugal.
In Portugal.
All right.
Yes, in
Not going to
Lisbon.
I'm not going to Portugal. I'm not leaving the country. I've already traveled around.
Mhm.
I've traveled in the countries I want to go to. I'm good. I'm staying right here because the end is near. And I need to be in the
Be
United
close to
States.
home.
I need to be in the United States when it all happens, when it goes
Close to
down.
the fortress.
That's right. That's right. That's
Mhm.
right.
The purge.
Because it's coming, folks. You gonna learn today. I'm telling you right now. You gonna learn today. It's gonna happen. All right. So the purge is near.
Stay strapped.
What kills me is, man, I was talking to some college students at University of Texas, and they were telling me that the amount of students that actually pack and carry in college that don't have a license. I was shocked and floored by this. Because a lot of them think that they can actually carry a gun on the campus and they don't have to have a license for it.
Because they passed something called campus carry, which, I mean, you have
You-
to have a license
You're
for.
You have to have a license in order to do it, but a lot of them think that you don't have to.
It's called campus carry, so I see how some college students might get confused.
You do have campus carry and constitutional carry with limits. So it's like it could be easy, to
Confused.
Yeah, very easy to confuse.
Yeah. Because we were in class this week, and a guy was texting his friend, and they were arguing back and forth. I was like, call him up. Let me talk to him. You cannot carry constitutionally inside the building of a college campus. You need a license for that.
Yeah.
Now get off of it. Leave the subject alone. Amazing to me that people, still today think that. You got to take a class, people. Man, good Lord. I don't understand that concept. Maybe I'm just floored. I don't get it. I would something so serious like a gun. I think I would want to learn some type, a little bit of the laws, maybe a little bit before I start carrying it. What do you think?
Duh.
This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Jack Jones here, and I get my gun news
Actually,
from
out of
Michael
stories.
Cargill on Come and Talk It.
I'm out of stories.
You're out of stories?
I'm out of stories. We hit them all for the first time. We didn't. Atlanta. I didn't talk about Atlanta. What's going on in Atlanta?
That's your hometown there.
No, it's
almost.
not my hometown.
You were raised there.
I want to raise no
Didn't you
Atlanta.
find?
No,
Is
I
that where you
wasn't-
found the body?
No, that was Florida. I'm from Florida, Fort Lauderdale.
Florida.
Yeah, I'm a Florida boy. I'm a Florida man. I'm a Florida man. That's why I do all that crazy stuff.
Do that crazy stuff?
Yes. Oh, yeah, the attempted robbery in Atlanta.
Attempted.
Yeah, stay strapped. Let me tell you. We'll talk about
What happened there?
It's in the short doc.
They need help identifying suspect in West End Mall robbery. One?
It's in the notes. It's on Twitter. It's a video. Video on Twitter.
The man with Pac-Man ghost tattoos below his left eye?
No.
Cell phone repair shop worker? No?
No.
Oh.
What do you want to talk about? What's going on in the Liberty community?
I mean, I wanted to give you a little bit of pushback on what you were saying about requiring.
Give me some pushback.
I'll give you some pushback.
Michael, I disagree with you.
I disagree.
You don't need to require people to take a class. It should not be a requirement. It should be a right.
Well, look, I mean, like
I disagree. It needs to be a requirement.
It's like I was saying earlier. Like you don't want to put regulations and asterisks on it. Like we just took 2 steps forward. Do you want to take 1 step back? I really
because
don't.
it's
But
like
I'll
you
tell
have to be your brother's keeper.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Right?
Okay.
Hear me out.
He's like, shut up.
There are too many. No, just hear me out. There's too many like right wing like 2A zealots that don't know anything. They're just there for the politics.
Okay.
And like we need more people like you pushing for training because there's no organization out there that is like prominent trying to teach people, at least that I know of, and I would even say, many student organizations too, especially, or young people organizations. Like this should be a topic, especially now in Texas. We passed constitutional carry. We need to be getting people training one way or another,
and focus on pushing them in that direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not making it mandatory.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the same thing, like this kind of relates to police officers. Like here, you see what we've, dealt with in Austin here where we've defunded the police. And look, I think, we should demilitarize the police, which isn't halfway defunding them a little bit. But look, we don't have road pirates here in Austin, but like we should have people defending private property rights, whether that's residential or private.
Okay. I'm going to ask you about real pirates.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so we're having a discussion offline here during the break, and we're talking about, I think that we need to make training mandatory. I think we need to, make it mandatory to take a class, before you start carrying a freaking gun. And I understand it is a right. It is a right. It's not a privilege. The Second Amendment is a right. It's actually, it's written in our Constitution. Driving is a privilege, but the Second Amendment is a right, and so I do understand that. But what I'm bothered by, and just bothered by the amount of just convictions that are increasing, and just the things that people say to me when they walk into the gun store. I'm just shocked of the lack of knowledge that some people have of what the laws really are. And so I always like starting like some of the classes off. What do you when someone says constitutional carry, what is your thoughts of that? What do you think is, it means when someone says constitutional carry? Can you open carry? Can you conceal carry? Do you need a license for it? Can you have around the chamber? Can you, where can you have it in your vehicle? And the amount of people that just don't know how even to carry in the vehicle, how they can carry in the vehicle under the law, it just shocks me, So, but you're saying it shouldn't be mandatory.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what we were talking about earlier in the program. I don't believe we should have regulations and asterisks for civil liberties and individual rights. We just passed constitutional carry, so I don't want to take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. The idea here is, look, I understand, and I see where you're coming from. And look, I even told you last episode, you taught me a lot. I helped get constitutional carry passed, and I didn't even understand laws. What I'll tell you is that there's not enough organizations doing what you're doing, Michael. There's and if I don't know of any, like let us know or let me know. But I just think there should be so many organizations now that we've passed constitutional carry in 20 plus states. We need to be training, young conservatives, young people in these states, these millions of people that we've made more free. We need to be encouraging them to get educated, to train them, so that way they know the laws and know how to utilize this tool for self-defense. But there's not enough people pushing for that.
Mm-hmm. All right. What do you think, Zach?
I agree with most of that. Shouldn't have requirements for people to exercise their Second Amendment. Should be something that any law-abiding citizen should be able to just do, you know.
So we just, we say, hey, just chalk it up to let's let the conviction numbers continue to rise and say, hey, that's so sad, too bad, that's on them.
Well, part of that could be changing the laws. Like, for example, what you were talking about, carrying in your vehicle. If you do not have a license, the gun cannot be in plain view, correct?
No.
The
So
gun can be in plain view?
yes, it can be in the open without a license.
Was
It's
that
just
changed with
yeah,
constitutional carry?
right. You could be 21
Wow.
years of age, should be 21 and up, and you can openly carry a handgun in the vehicle. The handgun just has to be in a holster if it's in the open.
So is that where people are going wrong? They don't have the gun in a holster?
That's correct.
They don't know what the definition of a holster is, possibly.
Yeah, which there is no definition of a
Right.
holster. So it's just the fact that if the gun's going to be open, if the gun can be seen in the vehicle, it has to be in a holster. So
Well, and there's two ways you could go on this conversation. Police officers, another one. I could tell you during constitutional carry, I was trying to not get a watered down version, and there were many Republicans were saying, we need to make concessions like campus carry, like the way in which you store or hold a firearm, which makes these arbitrary rules, which are going to force more people to get in trouble with the law.
mhm.
Yeah, and we should allow people to exercise their freedom and do what they want. It would be in their best interest to be trained by you, to come to you and learn what they should and should not do. Just like, having a gun, you can't go shoot someone for no reason. You have to learn somewhere that you can't do that, and there are only certain circumstances when you can use your gun, right?
Yeah.
And to
and
get the finer details of that, they come to you and learn those laws regarding carrying and how they can carry, when they can carry, where they can't carry, things like that.
and I'm actually impressed by you, Zach, because I was watching you today give your presentation over the rifle and also the shotgun,
Hmm.
and I was like, man, Zach's come a long way. I was like, wow, everything's right. You made it. People were leaning in, they were listening, they were like holding on to your every word when you explained everything. I was really impressed.
Well, they better listen.
Oh Lord.
That shotgun's got some kick. You got to hold it correctly, or else
Yeah, they were listening.
they kick you.
I like that. Man, you really good. I was really impressed.
How did I do, Anna?
Was he a good instructor at the range?
What?
Was Zach a good instructor?
Very good. Very clear.
Very clear?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it was very good. I was impressed by that. Let's go to Hot Atlanta. Okay. Atlanta. There's a video. Okay. And apparently there is an attempted robbery that went wrong in Atlanta over the weekend. And surveillance video shows the moment two women were almost ambushed at an apartment complex. And what happened was these two girls walk into an apartment complex, and they noticed two other women that were watching them. So the one girl pulled her gun out and had her gun in her hand, ready to go.
The robber or robbie?
The robbie, okay, had the victim had the gun in her hands, ready to go. And so once the suspects went in front of them up the stairs, the victims went to like the second floor, for an example.
Yeah, you see the video of the attempting robbers going
Yes.
up to the second floor
Like
and
going
then
up-
continuing going up to the third
Third
floor.
floor, correct. And then the victims are going on the second floor. They reach the second floor, and the suspects come back down from the third down to the second floor, running to try to catch up to the victims. And the victims turned around, and the one that had the handgun in her hand ready to go turned around and started firing shots and sent them flying out of the apartment complex. And then you can see there's a neighbor who actually opens the door to see what's going on and immediately closes the door back.
Yeah.
Like, boy, this is not
Don't
for
stick
me.
your head out the door there.
Yeah.
In a line of fire.
Right? Like, no, not today. You have to be, you got to put your head on a swivel nowadays. It's really crazy how, I was talking earlier how a guy pulled into a parking lot, parked his car, and there's another group of people, two guys that were in a car that got out of their car, watched, they went right past each other. They're watching them as they walked into a business, And then once that car that pulled into the parking lot the people walked into the business, the suspects got actually went to their car, broke into their vehicle, and stole their laptop out of their front seat. You gotta it's like you gotta be aware of your surroundings and what's going on around you. You got to take your stuff, lock it up, put it in the trunk, hide it. Don't leave your gun, in the front portion of the vehicle. Maybe put it in the trunk, get a lockbox for it or something like that, or take your gun with you. Yeah, um, and then make sure that what we do. What I do nowadays is I also protect my key fob. We're going to that extent now where you have to protect the key fob because someone can get that signal and create another key fob or whatever it is, hijack that signal and start your car and steal your vehicle.
You have a little case for it or something?
I can't tell you.
RFID blocking case?
Can't tell you my secret, but I have something. All the vehicles in the entire house. You have to do things to that extent. It takes so much to keep the stuff that you've worked so hard for. Cameras, alarm system. It's just so much. It's almost like I need to go out to the country somewhere, and be 5 miles away from my closest neighbor, to make sure everything's okay. But living in a city, it's not like that. You have to keep your head on a swivel, be aware of your surroundings, what's going on around you, and don't live in the white. You can't live in the white. You got to be aware of what's going on. You pull into a parking lot, be aware of that person that's sitting in the other vehicles that are watching you. They're watching you get out of your car, so they can break into your car and steal your stuff or whatever. Just break into your vehicle, break your window or whatever. So be aware of that stuff as well. And everything, I park close to the building. I try to always park underneath a camera. So there's so many different things that I do. I go out on my way to do stuff. I don't take the same route to work. I rotate. There's only so many ways I can come to work. And I rotate all those different routes. All that stuff. There's so many different things that you can do. So it's a lot.
Mhm.
It's a lot.
Another story I saw a couple days ago. Speaking of Georgia, a Georgia restaurant employee shoots and kills armed intruder after being pistol whipped.
So the employee got pistol whipped
Mm-hmm.
and then shot and killed the intruder?
Yeah, masked intruder, armed, jumps over the counter, pistol whips the guy,
Nice.
and then he demanded money from the employee, and then that resulted in him getting shot.
Wow. Well, that's where we are today. People, it's this holiday season, people are getting desperate. So, your Amazon packages, I would try to have those packages and different things, deliveries, delivered to another location. So that way your stuff doesn't get stolen at your front door. I would either try to have someone at the house if you can. If not, then have it delivered somewhere else. Because that's where we are today. That's all they're doing is following the delivery trucks and then immediately stealing the packages as soon as the driver drives off. Immediately. That's happening all around the country. So this holiday season, we have to take those steps. Maybe go to the store and buy your stuff. We need to maybe go back to doing that route. I don't know. But
Never going back to that.
you're not going to go back to that? No?
How can you?
All right. Well, as always, more guns equals less crime. You go out there and you buy yourself a gun. You've been listening to Come and Talk It with Michael Cargill.